I get that manifestation is not going to appeal to everyone, and I think that's okay. Different people need different things to feel connected to life. I'm sure we've all seen a coexist bumper sticker. I firmly believe there is a place for science and a place for mysticism, and I don't think pitting them against each other really serves anyone. They meet different human needs. Neurologists may be able to map out the chemical processes in the brain to lead to the feeling we call love, but it can never fully capture the experience of love. That's why we make things like art to fill in the gaps, and that's wonderful. That's part of what makes life worth living. We intuitively understand the purpose of art without needing a scientific justification for it. Science alone can't give me meaning. Now, I'm sure if I was a scientist, my research would give me meaning, but most of us are not scientists. I'm willing to bet that the theory of everything is not going to cure anyone's depression or anxiety. Life goes on whether we understand it or not. I see manifestation as an art of making meaning. It invites me to deeply examine my inner world, how I show up for myself, others, and ponder what I believe is possible. I don't think something has to be scientific for it to be useful. A theory of everything can only tell us how, but the why is still left for us to decide. There was a time where meditation was seen as woo-woo new age bullshit, but now we have a plethora of scientific research explaining its mental health benefits. It's good that we have research on meditation, but imagine if we could also lend some validity to the people who have been engaging with this practice for thousands of years. Why does something only get to be true when Western scientists decide it is? These are the same guys that were measuring skulls not too long ago. The decision of what research is worth exploring and funding is a lot more political than we realize. Science is not immune to justifying racism, sexism, or ableism either. We used to institutionalize women for hysteria, and being gay was a mental illness for a while, which it is, but that can't be helped. We didn't have a full mapping of the clitoris until 2005, simply because the male-dominated field didn't think to do so. And I don't say all this to say I'm anti-science. I very much appreciate science, and I understand it's come a long way since eugenics. But a lot of people treat it like it's this pure, untainted thing when it's really just as human as anything else. Which brings me to my next point. I don't disagree with the fact that there have been bad teachers who have said harmful things in the name of manifestation. Like, I don't think it's a replacement for healthcare. And I believe it's possible to learn something from someone without blindly following everything they say. Part of learning is using your discernment. Manifestation didn't teach me to suppress my negative thoughts. If anything, it invited me to examine them and the emotions behind them, especially when I find myself in patterns of behavior that I want to change. What's actually harmful about that? This creator is claiming that the natural conclusion to something like manifestation leads you to believing things like the people of Gaza have bad vibes, so that's why genocide. From where she's coming from, I understand why she thinks this, but I just have to disagree, especially when there are evangelical Christians who literally believe Israel is necessary in order to trigger the ultimate genocide, the rapture. If someone is a Zionist or justifying genocide for any reason, it's not because of manifestation. Engaging with the concept doesn't make you blind to the fact that there are larger systems at play. It taught me that I have power within me, and most importantly, that I can believe in myself despite these systems of domination. A community is strengthened when the individuals that make up that community feel good about themselves and what they can offer their community. We don't have to accept the fact that our government has spent billions funding this senseless violence, like, oh no, that's the government, they're bigger than me. No, we can tear that shit down, but how are we going to do that if everyone is stuck feeling powerless? And yes, having the space and time to manifest is absolutely a privilege, but the best one can do with privilege is to use it for good. To use it to uplift those who don't have that privilege. Manifestation is a tool of self-discovery and a practice to design a better future, and isn't that what we all want? How can we be so sure that we won't just recreate the world that we have with different aesthetics if we never take the time to reflect where the system ends and begins on an internal level? Something that has really stuck with me is the following quote from Mohammed Khalil's letter from the Louisiana Detention Center. It reads, I have always believed that my duty is not only to liberate myself from the oppressor, but also to liberate my oppressor from their hatred and fear. It's incredible to me that despite all he's been through, he's able to see the vulnerability in his oppressors. It's so profound and candidly human. Like, he doesn't have to feel this way. Pure rage would be just as sacred. His words remind me that this kind of work starts from within. The revolution starts within. Inner work does not come at the detrimentality of community building. It is an integral part of it. There is a place for both. I am glad that this creator brought up the racism that can be found in these spaces, because yeah, being a teacher of spiritual knowledge does not make you immune to racism. I'm not surprised Louise Hay and Abraham Hicks have said dumb shit about racism. They're white women. White supremacy creeps its way into everything. That's why it's so effective. Unlearning it is a constant journey of picking its tendrils from your mind, especially for white people. There are also plenty of black manifestation content creators, and I can assure you they're not telling other black people that racism is all in their heads. It's true that the most popular content creators in this space tend to be white women, but I think that says more about our world than it does about manifestation. It shows that even in a space that claims to be spiritual, white voices are still seen as more important. I feel like if this creator sought out black voices, they would have been able to see the concept from a wider perspective, but no shade, they probably didn't even think to do that. Manifestation content has come a long way since The Secret, and honestly, I don't think it's a very good introduction to the concept. It's like your favorite artist's most popular song. The song that everyone knows is usually not their best song, but it still brings in a lot of fans. The Secret and the Law of Attraction are modernized and westernized versions of teachings that humans have been passing down for thousands of years. Knowledge is wealth too. It's something that you have to cultivate over time. That's part of the beauty of it. How can we build a better future if we never learn from the past? I don't think these teachings are true just because they're old, but I think it's fascinating how multiple cultures have arrived at similar ways of understanding the world around them. I also think that the fact that this knowledge has stood the test of time at least speaks to its usefulness. And again, I don't think things have to be scientific to be useful. All manifestation does is invite you to look within yourself and make peace with yourself as you are now. It has inspired me to make the world a better place and empowered me with the knowledge that I actually can. It encourages me to be more loving, more compassionate, and more appreciative of my life. At least that is what taught. At least that's what it's taught me, and I know I'm not alone in that. There's plenty of free manifestation content out there, and many of the techniques don't require anything other than you and maybe a pen and paper. If someone wants to pay a creator for something, that's their choice. Now, are some people grifting? Probably. But in my opinion, that is more of a symptom of late-stage capitalism than it is an actual indictment of the idea. You don't need to buy anything to manifest. It's always a choice. Now, I don't expect everyone to get into manifestation, but I just ask that before you shit all over the whole concept, maybe take a moment to embrace the unknowns of life and approach the things that you don't understand with a sense of curiosity. Just because something doesn't have a value to you doesn't mean that thing serves no value. Sure, some people may be manifesting money, but I'm manifesting a world where we can enjoy our lives with or without money. And whether or not I get to live to see that doesn't really matter to me, because I'll know that I used my vision for something beautiful. I dared to imagine a liberated future even when everything around me told me it wasn't possible.